Hello there, and welcome to another episode of Dafuq Did I Just Watch? With your host, Kyle McLemore. This week we'll be recapping and reviewing Episode 5 of the Disney Marvel series Moon Knight, starring Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke. If you haven't already and would like to, please pause now and return later after you've seen the episode, because there will be several spoilers coming up. That's right, this is your official spoiler alert. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Definitely helps the podcast grow, and feel free to comment any shows or movies you'd like us to review here at Dafuq. So let's get right into it. This is going to be episode 5 of Moon Knight. It's a highly emotional and backstory driven episode, so make sure you got your Kleenex ready, because it's going to get all kinds of teary in this one. Little recap from last episode. It ended with our main hero, Oscar Isaac, aka Mark, and Steven, getting straight up blasted in the chest by Ethan Hawke. Straight up, plop, plop, 2 to the chest, and he is down for the count. Last episode ended with him waking up in an asylum with a giant hippopotamus talking to him. This episode opens up with our hero, Mark, is still in an asylum talking to Dr. Harrow, Ethan Hawke, who's completely changed from creepy kind of cult leader to straight up Ned Flanders in a psychiatric hospital. So we're jumping back and forth trying to figure out what's real and what's not, and having Ethan Hawke looking all professional and being a doctor and saying like, well, you were just talking to a hippo, so what sounds crazier? Are you here in the office with me, or are you talking to that fucking hippo? And he's like, hey, I'm thinking that the hippo makes me sound a little nuts. So that's fun, jumping back between reality, what's real. Us as the audience members still not 100% what's real or not. We've been following him on this journey, and so we're assuming that all these gods and hippo things are real, but we're still getting these little curveballs from Dr. Harrow. So our giant hippo goddess, Tawedit, is there to guide us into the afterlife, into the fields of reeds, aka heaven. After our heart is judged by the feather of truth. After the scales balance, you either, if it's imbalanced, off the side into the sands of death you go, and if they do balance, then into the fields of reeds, aka heaven, you get to go. So, we're in the hospital, but it's kind of just like, taking whatever form your mind does. Like, she's like, hey, I've been in castles, and, whatever your mind makes it, or fucking psychiatric hospital, like you bonkers fuck. There's a part where he opens the door and it's like, oh, we're out on the ship and we really are sailing across the sea of sand. Like, all right, I'm not crazy. We're trying to balance the hearts, the scales all out of whack, and she's like, hey, you two, Steven, Mark, you gotta work this out. One body, one soul. Like, it's, you're all mixed up. If it doesn't balance by the end, then you're both going over. So into the past we go. Walking through the hallways of the asylum, it looks like each door leads to a different memory. And so into the depths of our memories we go to find out what happened in his childhood. Where did Steven come from? Is Mark the original? We don't know. Let's find out together. They kind of start looking at rooms together. They're looking like, oh shit, these are all the guys he killed? What the fuck? Who's that little boy running around? Oh. And Mark is like, Steven, no! And Steven just fucking bolts, and he's blasting through all these memories, like, what's in here, what's in here, what's in here? Going deeper and deeper while Mark is just like, hey, fucking stop it. And then we start getting a little deeper into it. So Steven is running and blasting through all these memory doors, and he shows up on one happy family Sunday morning, where we see Mom, Dad, Mark, and oh, look, what is this? Mark had a little brother? Interesting that he was never existed. So that doesn't forebode well. That doesn't bode well for the little brother. So we're going along like, hey, let's go check out the cave. And it's like, oh, okay. Oh, looks like rain. Oh, okay, it's getting worse. And then we're going like, hey, what's in the cave? Water just dumping in there. And it's like, I should probably get out. So then, boom, jump forward. And guess one of them didn't make it because we're at a funeral at the home. And surprise, surprise, it's the little brother. So looks like he lost a little bro, drowned in the cave of water. And then we get our reveal of the biggest villain of the entire season of Moon Knight. Turns out it's not Ethan Hawke, it's Mark's mom, who is a horrible person. So we're at the funeral for our little bro, and, Obviously, she's upset. A mother just lost her child, so she's obviously not in the right state of mind because she's like, it's fucking you! You killed him! And it's like, ugh, okay, lady, I know you just lost your son, but this probably isn't the best way to do this, is to take it out on your other son. I mean, yeah, it was kind of his idea to go, but it's not like he held him down and drowned him himself. Like, take it easy. But, I mean, hey, to be fair, she's a grieving mother. It's only been like a week or whatever, however long it takes to set up a funeral. So, she's obviously still grieving, so we'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that one. Cut to next year. Oh, it's Mart's birthday. But it's only Dad. Like, hey, where's Mom? And he's like, sorry, son, she's not feeling great. It'll just be us this year. So it's like, alright, that's a little bit shitty, but okay. I mean, we're still in the grieving process, sure. Next year, it's my birthday again. Hey, happy 12th birthday, Mart. Here comes Mom. She's like, you were always fucking jealous of him. Maybe that's why you fucking drowned him. It's your fault. I hate you. And it's like, okay, Mom, it's been like 2 years. You should have had plenty of time to grieve. I mean, of course, you never get over losing your child, but Jesus Christ, you've definitely had time to realize that it wasn't my fault, and I didn't do it on purpose, and I don't see how screaming at my face that I killed my brother is gonna help anybody at all. So this whole time, Steven is running through all these memories like, Jesus Christ, what is going on? We get a memory of like, ooh, let's bump it up. It looks like this is 18-year-old Steven leaving home, and his dad's like, son, wait, I can't lose another son. And he's like, hey, man, why don't you talk to Mom? It's been like 8 years and she still thinks I'm a fucking murderer. And clearly you're not doing shit, Dad. Like, talk about the worst parents ever. The mom who is constantly blaming him and like abusing him. Oh, yeah, blaming him and abusing him. And then the dad who's just like, meh, that's Ma. Terrible. So then we did another big reveal. So it turns out that it's finally revealed Steven is basically an imaginary friend. He's a different personality that he would just morph into when his mom was being like a fucking psycho. And so he would just morph into Steven, just like, oh, hey, look at me, let me go clean my room for Ma. There's a part where she fucking like kicks open the door and is like, I told you to clean your room, with her belt, and it's all your fault. So not only emotionally and mentally abusive, but also like physically abusive. So just abusive all the way down the checklist. Really psychotic mother. And I mean, like, where was Dad the fuck? Like, so Dad's okay with Mom just mentally and psychologically, emotionally abusing her son, and just to like say fuck it, like, I'm also gonna beat the shit out of him. Like, the fuck, Dad? Like, yeah, no wonder he's leaving home. Like, fuck you. We did our reveal of how Mark came to be Moon Knight. There was a big old shootout in the desert, some archaeologists and shit like that. Mark gets hit and he's like, I'm gonna fucking die. And then Conchu was like, what a fucking waste. Don't you want to be my Moon Knight? So that's how we did our powers. But yeah, it's mostly, a lot of emotion, a lot of backstory. We go and see that his mother does eventually die of, like, I don't know, just being a terrible person. So then he goes to the funeral, like, outside, and his dad's like, come on, don't you want to say goodbye to your terrible mother and me? And he's just like, nah. Oscar Isaac giving a unbelievable performance. There is a part at the end where he's walking away from the funeral and he's trying to be angry, and you can tell him he's like literally saying like, no, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction, all the emotion and hatred, and like still feeling the sadness of losing your mother but not wanting to cry and be like, no, fuck that bitch. Like, how am I going to cry over this like horribly abusive person? And then he just like straight up breaks down in the street, and to have all that emotion flooding, and then to do his like, what's going on here? To just like flip it to Steven. Amazing to get that emotional range, and then also just to be able to just like flip it and be like, oh, is this Milwaukee Street? Milwaukee? Where am I? Oh, they're driving on the wrong side of the street here. So yeah, Oscar Isaac murdering this performance. I can't even imagine the amount of emotions he had to try to push out, and then just to flip it over to old British Stephen in a second like that is insane. So, bravissimo to you, Mr. Oscar Isaac. So we're back on the boat. Our scales are getting a little bit more even now that, we're revealing all this stuff about, like, who's real, who's not, what's going on with Mom and whatnot. All these emotions from the back story coming to light. Finally starting to scale, trying to start to balance our scales a little bit. But unfortunately not soon enough. We get out there and it's like, oh, they're still not balanced and we're kind of at the destination. So off the side you go, and here come the sand zombies. These like sand guys are just like, rah, like grabbing him, try to punch him, but he just like turns to sand and like it's sand. Like you're not gonna stop fucking sand zombie. So they're wrestling, about to fly over. Steven's helping, like and he tackles a sand zombie off the side, and it's like, Steven, no, my imaginary friend, no. Steven's down in the dirt, and he fucking like gets all sandified, and she's like, huh, the scales are balanced. And he's like, are you sure? And it's like, before he can even finish the sentence, like, I guess I'm in heaven. Like, he is straight up Field of Reeds-ing it up. It's very Gladiator, Russell Crowe walking through the fields. Like, it looks amazing. So, potentially the episode ends with Mark officially dying and ending up in heaven. So, not sure how I was going to get out of that one. There was some cool details, little stuff about, like, Cross, Talwede was talking about the how there's different planes that intersect, like different afterlife things are intersecting. She mentions the ancestral plane, which I believe is from Black Panther. So it's interesting to think that all these afterlives potentially have like crossovers. So it's like, I don't know, Black Panther could like cross over and be like, what's up, Moon Knight? Hey, we're both dead, bro. Like, so interesting stuff. Like I said, very high emotion, lots of backstory. And it's the episode before the finale, so I'm assuming that with all that emotion and backstory out of the way, with the finale, it's just going to be fucking rock'em sock'em, action-packed, fucking moon batarangs all the way. So, looking forward to that. It should be a heck of a season finale. There's been a lot of talk about probably just being like a series finale. This is going to be like a limited series kind of thing. Not sure. We'll get more updates on that as I'm sure that the series comes to an end. I mean, if it's successful, I don't see why they wouldn't want to make more. But this is getting a vibe of kind of being like a standalone thing, which is a shame. I'm starting to get, more attached to Moon Knight. He's pretty cool. Got so much emotional connection to an imaginary character who's gone now. So we'll see what happens in the finale. One episode left to go with Moon Knight. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, as always, Kyle McLemore. If you haven't already, please be sure to like and subscribe. It definitely helps the podcast and the show keep going. If you'd like to comment any movies or shows you'd like us to review here at Dafuq, we definitely appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for the series finale